Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Liz Hernandez. Tonight, a story you'll see only on CBS 12 News. A mother is demanding accountability after she says a local therapy center she trusted her son with broke that trust. She says a now former therapist hit her son, who has special needs, and it was all caught on surveillance video. CBS 12 News reporter Antoinette Delbel joins us after speaking to the boy's mother about the moment she saw the footage.
Well, this is the mother with her little boy who is autistic. She tells me her son is always smiling, so she knew something was wrong that day after the alleged abuse. And she fears it wasn't the first time. Now she wants to see the center closed and that therapist behind bars.
So when I see that he throws...
Diana Hernandez held back tears as she replayed that disturbing moment in her mind.
It's horrible. I can't describe it.
Surveillance video shared with CBS 12 News shows her son with his therapist at Maximum Achievers in Lake Clark Shores. At first, they're tossing a ball, but moments later, that employee is seen hitting him on his backside with his sneaker. Moments earlier, he appears to throw a ball at the child and then his shoe at close range.
That's my biggest fear, to see my son get hurt and not be there to protect him.
Hernandez says her son is autistic and nonverbal and has been seeing that therapist at Maximum Achievers for several months. He goes there with his twin brother, who works with a different therapist. She tells me when she picked her son up after his session Friday evening, she immediately noticed a change in his behavior.
The first thing I noticed is that he was shaking.
After they got home, she says she saw what looked like a bite mark on his back and took him to the ER.
The first mark I saw was the one on his ribs, and then I see the bite and I see the bruise on his lower back, and I'm like, okay, this is unacceptable.
Hernandez says she later asked the owner of the center for surveillance video. She says the owner downplayed the alleged abuse and told Hernandez she wasn't going to report him to police.
Why are you risking your whole business for this man? You're supposed to be taking care of my kids.
Maximum Achievers tells us that employee has since been fired and they're working with police.
I need this man. I need that peace. I need this man in jail. He needs to pay for what he did to my son.
The employee has not been charged, but police are investigating the allegations. Hernandez says she now has retained a lawyer as she figures out her next steps. She also tells me her son is traumatized, but he's strong and doing much better. Antoinette Delbel, CBS 12 News.
How long have you been taking your son to Maximum Achievers?
About 2.5 years. 2.5
years? Okay. And you had any issues with them in the past?
You could say it was an issue. There was an incident where a therapist before the one of the incident, he was eating Alexander's food and he got fired, but I was notified. She didn't really have to tell me, but she did show me videos and she fired him. So actions were taken, so that's why I chose to stay with her, and I thought that I could trust her. I'm talking about Miriam, the owner of the Maximum Achievers, because there was good communication and she did notice that there was something wrong with Alex, therapist.
Alex is your son?
Yes, Alexander, he's the victim.
Why don't you walk me through the moment you first saw that video?
This last video?
Yes, the one that that you put on your social media showing that therapist in the therapy room with, is he a therapist? Is that correct to say? He's
an RBT, so he's supposed to help him behave. It's for behavior because he's autistic. It's very unfortunate because I was not expecting this from him. He was the kind of person that would, text me when Alex was hurt, or if there was a scratch, he would tell me, hey, this is how he came from school. So I was not expecting to see, anything, but I did have to ask for videos because the marks that he came with on Friday were places that there was no explanation for. Because Alexander has self-harming behaviors, and it didn't happen in school. I did speak to the coordinator from School for Kids with Autism, ESE coordinator, and she said that she stayed with him all day, and so that's when I requested, to check the cameras. And she did. She didn't call me back. It's hard. She didn't call me back, so I called her and say, hey, what's going on? Why you haven't called me? Did you see something? Is there something wrong? She said, unfortunately, yes. And Saturday was his last day. I can't have him come back, but I do not want to report him. She explained some of the things that were happening in the video, but she didn't say that it was that bad. Like, she said, oh, he just used his shoes. He was touching his ears. So it's just stuff that is not acceptable. I still hadn't seen the video. So when she said that she didn't want to report him, I didn't think anything big of it until I obviously saw the video. So when she told me that, I called Dad, his father, their father, because he's a twin. Okay, we stop.
So we were told that the incident that was shown on that surveillance video happened on Monday. Is that not the case?
No.
Okay.
This happened on Friday.
Happened Friday, and you dropped him off for how long?
He goes to therapy every day from 2 until 7 p.m. and Saturday from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. Every other Saturday.
So how did you suspect that something might have happened that day, Friday? Did you pick him up at the end of the day? Or?
So I picked him up. I dropped him off after school. I picked him up in school, take him to therapy. And then I picked him up from therapy, and the first thing I do when I get home is shower him. So when I'm drying him off, I see the first mark I saw was the one on his ribs. And then I see the bite, and I see the bruise on his lower back, and I'm like, okay, this is unacceptable. This couldn't have been done by him. So that's when I said, Mom, look, because my mom was with me. I was like, Mom, look at this. We both started crying, and I dressed him up. She took my other son, and I took him to the emergency room. And they did some tests. The doctor saw him, and he did say that looked like a bite mark, but he had no explanation for the injuries. He could just describe them. But I wanted everything in paper, and I wanted to make sure that he was okay. So I had to wait until Monday because it was Friday night. Nothing is open. I can't call the local police officer, the police from school, because I thought this was all happening in school. And so I waited until Monday, went to speak to the coordinator, the ESC coordinator from school, and she said that she had been next to him all day, that it couldn't have happened there. So that's when I decided to call Miriam, who is the owner of Maximum Achievers, who I trusted with my son, with my kids. And I told her to look at the cameras because it didn't happen in school. And I know it didn't happen in school because of the way the coordinator said that she was next to my son all day. So I honestly wanted it to be a lie. I wanted it to not be true. I wanted it, I wanted it to be something else. I was trying to believe that it was a kid, because it would devastate me. I mean, that means that my son has been abused for 8 months. So she didn't call me back. I called her after a while. I called her and I say, what's going on? Why is it taking so long? She said, unfortunately, it's him. I didn't see the part where he did the injuries, but I did see some things that are unacceptable. I said, okay, I need to talk to his dad, to my son's dad. I called my son's dad, and he lost it. And because he doesn't have that communication with her, he didn't care about what she had to say. He said that he had to be reported, not just fired. And after that call, she called me back, and she said that because my son's father wanted to report him, that she had to do it first. So
before they fire him?
No, before we report him. So she said that she has to report that guy before we do it. I don't know how that works. But I said, okay, we still hadn't seen the videos. So we did ask her to send us the videos. And she sent it to us like 3 or 4 hours later, I would say 3 hours later, because she was getting the audios out the video, I don't know why. And she only sent me an hour and 20 minutes of videos. But the session was for 5 hours. So I don't know what happened in the next 3 hours and 40 minutes. I only saw from when he got there until an hour and 25 minutes later.
And that clip that was sent to us that you sent to Carlos, it was a 5-minute clip. So that was
his first 15 minutes. So 10 minutes, and then that's that video.
So, like you're saying, your son was with that therapist for 5 hours, and you saw like how much, an hour and a...
An hour and 25 minutes.
So in just that first 15 minutes is when there was any sort of hitting? Okay. And what did you, when you first saw that, how did you feel?
I wish that on nobody. It's horrible. I can't describe it. As a mother, that's my biggest fear, you know, to see my son get hurt and not be there to protect him. So I couldn't even finish the video. I only watched when he threw the ball, and I immediately stopped it, because as soon as I saw his face, I saw a different person from, you know, when I come and bring my son or when I pick him up, he was a completely different person. I didn't know him. I got scared as soon as I saw his face. So when I see that he throws, I called her immediately. I called her and I say, what do you mean you're not gonna report him? Because even before I seen the video, like 20 minutes before, I would say, she was asking me if I was still gonna report him. So I asked her, why are you waiting for me to tell you if we're gonna report him or not? Of course, matter of fact, I'm going to the police station. I want him in jail. Why are you risking your whole business for this man? You're supposed to be taking care of my kids. I put my kids in your hands. You're supposed to take care of them. And I see some comments, people say, no, you're not there. I'm not supposed to be there. I could watch for a certain period of time, but he needs to learn how to be independent and how not, you know, how to, besides of that, when I'm there, he doesn't act the same way. He won't learn anything if I'm there, because he's looking for me, you know, he needs to be independent. That's what the whole therapy is about.
So so this happened Friday, and were there any other marks or anything that you noticed on your son's body indicating that this could have happened before?
Yes. There were more injuries, but because I reported this school, because some people think that I don't know, you know, social media is insane, and I see everything that people are saying, and I've been on top of everything with my kids, and we were always thinking that it was from school, that this happened in school, or that he was doing to himself, because he hurts himself really bad. He picks on his face, he punches his face, he hits his head, but this is all from frustration, that he can't speak, and probably because he's being abused, and it just kept getting worse, and we didn't know what was happening. And he was being neglected in school, honestly, he was, but that was fixed when this happened. And I took him to a psychiatrist. He's being on medicine, so we're doing everything we can.
Can you talk a little bit about your son, his personality? You had mentioned he's autistic. He's nonverbal as well?
Nonverbal. He's nonverbal.
So he can't really express to you what happened that day?
No.
So, but you saw a change in his behavior, and that's what?
The first thing I noticed is that he was shaking when I picked him up from therapy. That was my first red flag. Why is he shaking? But again, I didn't want to believe that this man that calls me, asking me if my son is okay and taking care of him, you know, by himself, just, you know, with a camera of supervision. I'm not thinking, and plus Miriam hadn't called me to mention me, you know, something's wrong. So I'm thinking my son is safe. Because if something so little as not giving my son, it's not little, but giving my son's, not giving my son's food, that was reported. Why is the abuse not being reported? You know, so that's why I'm like.
You're obviously, you're not happy with the way that this was handled from Maximum Achievers.
Oh, definitely not.
What are you hoping to see, either changes in general or from that center, that therapy center? Is there anything that you're hoping?
I know they're investigating them. If they need to close. I think my son was hurt like multiple times, and from the way of, you know, he was doing it in the video, that doesn't look like it's his first time. That looks like that's his way of teaching him, and I don't think that should be open. I don't think anybody should go through this, and especially a kid that is innocent. No, they need to close.
You said that day that you couldn't finish watching the video. Have you since watched?
I've watched more, not all of it.
The part with the sneaker.
I did. That's in that same video.
Hitting him on the backside.
Yeah, throwing the shoe on his face. Yeah, I seen that.
It's hard for you to not get emotional about even thinking about that. Is that something that you're never gonna get out of your mind, that image? How is your son doing? How has this experience affected him?
He's traumatized, but I'm just so surprised how strong he is. He's still smiling. You know, he's still hurting himself, but he's still him, you know, and that's what I'm grateful for, that he's still here with me.
Did you, some of these questions that I had already, you filed a police report, so you filed that yesterday, and they basically told you that they would investigate. Did you also get a lawyer now to defend you, and what are you hoping to get out of that by getting a lawyer?
I just want justice. I just want justice for my son.
Would this be, what did the lawyer say he can actually do? Like,
I haven't gotten into
Okay.
it deeply with that. I just know I haven't gotten into that.
You just want him.
I want him in jail. That's my main focus right now. I'm not worried about that.
He should not be working around kids.
He should not be in the streets. Period.
You mentioned you have another son who goes there as well, his twin brother. Does he also see that same person?
No, thank God, no. And he doesn't have any injuries or.
Is there anything that you wanted to add that I'm leaving out that's important for us to touch on?
I just want to put the word out. I just want this man in jail. That's it. I can't sleep. I can't eat. I need this man. I need that peace. I need this man in jail. He needs to pay for what he did to my son.